Greetings, trophy hunters. This is Brian English and PS5 trophies. I'm going to show you all the collectibles in Jackson. This is the first chapter of The Last of Us Part 2. We're going to do it chapter by chapter. First, I want to say welcome back to some of you. Check out my channel once or twice a year. So in case you haven't noticed, yes, I did change the channel name. All right, so we are in the sub-chapter Waking Up. Now we're gonna get to this crossroads of this town. You're gonna see there's a dog in the intersection there, and I just really quickly want to show you under the accessibilities. If you want to go to magnification and visual aid, you can turn on the high contrast display, and you'll easily find the collectibles. However, I do have to warn you that it really breaks the immersion of this game. So don't use it. Follow this guide. In fact, when you play this game for the first time, don't watch this video or any other videos. Just play through the game. Get collectibles if you need to. But you can see when you turn on the magnification mode, you can just swipe left on your touchpad to actually change back and forth between the two modes. Again, I highly recommend you don't use it. So that is the first trading card. Now we are just a little bit down the road. We're going to find an artifact. Now we're going to follow our companion here. He's going to go in towards the bar to the left. Instead, we're going to go behind the logs here on the right, and we're going to find an artifact next to this ladder. The artifacts are basically documents for the most part. So apparently just simple notes we used to write each other back in the old days are considered artifacts. I don't know. All right, so now we're going to head into the bar where we're supposed to go. And then after a brief cutscene, head over towards the dartboard. You'll find a trading card just to the left of it. And that'll do it for the 3 collectibles in the Waking Up sub-chapter of Jackson. Now we are going to head over to the Overlook, and there's only 1 collectible. You're going to be crawling underneath a house, and once you get out the other side, we're actually going to circle back around and go back into the house in a new section. You can go through this first window here, or just go directly in the second back one here, and then you'll see the artifact. I don't know why I'm going to just do a air melee swing, you know, style points maybe. But anyways, that is the 1 collectible in the Overlook. Now we're going to go to the patrol, and there's 12 collectibles here. And you and Dina are going to have a cutscene here. As soon as it ends, you're going to be able to walk up to where you were just over looking across the way there, and you can trigger the journal entry. You see Ellie will take out the book and start writing in the journal. Next up is going to be an artifact. The next section you're going to come to, you're going to have a road, you're going to have some houses on the left and the right, and you're going to see this trailer here in the center. There's some goodies in there for you if you'd like them. But I'm going to go to the first house on the left and then go up, and then we're going to find an artifact right next to the bed. And once I've done this, I'm going to then go across the street to get a trading card.
Tonight.
I'll think about.
Okay, so I just left that house, and I'm going to go across the street, looking at the car right in front of me, and I'm going to jump up through the window up to the second floor. Now, if you get up here before Dina, just go ahead and grab the trading card. If she's just kind of walking around up here, she'll actually grab it and then hand it to you. All right, so we're going to get another artifact here in patrol. What we're doing is crawling underneath a tractor trailer. And you're going to get ambushed by an enemy. You can see the remains of him there. We're going to circle around and go inside the truck we just climbed under. You're supposed to climb on top of it from the cab and then walk across the top. But you have to come inside of here to get the artifact first. Speaking of artifacts, we have another one. So after you crawl across the top of that trailer, you drop down in here. There's going to be a spore area here, so you're going to have your mask on, I guess, even though you're immune. Maybe Dina doesn't know. I don't know. Anyways, inside of here, you're going to see an artifact here in the corner, and right next to it is going to be a safe. Now, I'm going to give you the code, but if you want to get the code, it's just outside. You got to look at the Employee of the Month wall, find out what month his best friend, who happens to be a dog in the picture. Once you figure that out, you're just going to come over to the safe and then enter in the month and year. So 7, I think it's 2013. I believe, I don't know how good my memory is. I'm not very good, I can tell you that with certainty.
Oh, shit.
Open that up. Oh shit, it worked. It says Ellie. We're going to go ahead and grab some parts and supplements. And then we are going to go off and get an artifact after that. I don't know why it took so long to grab those. All right, so now we're going to be in a new store. We're in a bookstore. And we're going to just kind of go all the way to the back. This is Story Path here. jump in through this office here, and then as you go through this door here, you'll actually get a Firefly pendant for Eugene Linden.
Definitely Eugene's place.
All right, next up we're going to have a journal entry. This is going to be right around the corner. We're just going to look for a stuffed toy, one that may look familiar to you. There it is, a giraffe. We're going to interact with that, add that to our journal entry. And then we're going to stay in this area. I'm going to just turn around, go about 20 meters behind me. We're going to go in through this doorway here, and we'll find the trading card right on the desk. All right, so in the same area, we are actually going to go to the opposite side of the room. We are heading close to our very first workbench, but first we're going to go to this drawer, pull out this artifact, and then right behind us is going to be another one. So I'm going to turn around, and it's going to be a picture. It's an interesting picture. I like it. I won't spoil anything. This is going to be as much spoiler for you as possible. That is Tommy and Eugene, though. Okay, so I mentioned a moment ago a workbench. So you're going to go grab an item for the quest line, and then basically it's a tutorial. You're not going to be able to miss this workbench. But you do need to find all the workbenches, so I'm throwing them in here. All right, so now we are in the packing up section, sub-chapter. Now we're going to be inside this house, and we're going to go to the back, into the kitchen here in the back left corner from where you enter. And we're going to grab this owl mug, and then we are going to write into our journal, thus letting us know that it was a proper journal entry. All right, two more here. We're going to go upstairs. Once you go up the stairs, go into the first room you come to. You'll find a journal entry by interacting with this guitar over here on the right side of the room. Now, once you've done that, all you're going to do is go into the bedroom, the main bedroom, open up this box, and you will get a watch and then also something else. So that is going to do it for Chapter 1. This is Jackson. I will see you guys in Seattle. Hey guys, this is Brian English coming back at you with another PS5 Trophies guide. We are doing The Last of Us Part 2. This is Seattle Day 1. I hope you guys are comfortable because we have 83 collectibles we are going to find. So grab yourself a cup of coffee and let's get rolling here. So Ellie and Dina are going to be riding here in the beginning of Seattle Day 1, and they're going to kind of head towards the gate. On your way, you're going to find an old bus station. Inside the bus station here is going to be a trading card on the wall. Go ahead and collect that. Get back on your horse, and then you're going to make your way down to a road. Oh, we got the starter set trophy. We're going to make our way down the road. I get so excited by trophies. We're going to make our way down the road. You're going to see a building to the left. We're going to go inside of here. So just keep following Interstate 5 or whatever that road that is there until you get to the first building on the left-hand side. In here are going to be two collectibles. There's going to be a trading card right here on the wall on the bulletin board. And then we are going to go into the next room, and we are going to find a map in the right drawer. Now, this map, if you don't get this location here, it'll appear in other locations. So you might as well just get it here. Okay, of course, the maps are considered artifacts in this day of age, as well as any Post-it note written by anyone in the history of mankind. So here is journal entry, the fourth collectible. This is going to be when you get to the next section. You're going to see this gate. You need to walk up to this gate so you can hit the triangle button and start writing into your journal. Now, there are going to be two other collectibles in this immediate area. They're both going to be artifacts. First one's going to be inside this building here, the closest one to you. There's only two buildings here, and they're basically copy-paste of each other. But in here is going to be the artifact. Now, there's also another copy of the map, but if you already got it, but otherwise it would be behind me, closest to the door. All right, so now, as I mentioned, these things are kind of copy-pasted. So we're going to go into the other one that looks identical, and the collectible is going to be in the exact same spot. Nice job, Naughty Dog. But at least the collectible is different. You got the stages of infection. Kind of neat. All right, so you're going to make your way up and then over a wall. You're going to come into this area here, and you're going to take a ladder down. But before you do, there's actually a ladder. It's kind of in the dark here, right as you enter through the doorway. It's just to the left. We're going to go up to the top here, and we're going to find a trading card. And we will also find a artifact as well. It's going to be just to my right. Okay, so now moving on, we just crawled all the way back down to the ground level, and we got another couple buildings here, one on each side of the fence. Now we're going to enter the one on the left side of the fence, which is the only way you can go because you have to power open the door. Inside this chest, this drawer is going to be a piece of paper, an artifact with a whole bunch of numbers. You need that. It's very important to open the gates later. All right, so you're going to get this the electrical cord. You're supposed to plug it into the first gate and then throw it over the fence. But before you throw it over the fence and then plug it in ultimately on the other side, throw it across the top of this building and then go over to the other side and then hit the X button and then rappel yourself up to the top. And there are going to be two collectibles here, a trading card and, of course, a artifact. And those are going to be the last two collectibles in the first subchapter. This is the chapter Seattle Day 1. The subchapter is the gate. There were 11 collectibles in total. So now we are going to move on to downtown, for which there are 29 collectibles. This is kind of the open world area of the game. So first thing we're going to do is go into this downtown checkpoint shack here, open up the drawer. We're going to pull out an artifact. Okay, so remember that map we got earlier? Well, now we're going to use it for the open world area. You can see I'm in Interstate 5. There's that question mark. I'm the black dot with the white circle pointing in the direction I'm facing. So at the northern end of the interstate, which is pretty much gone, you're going to see this fascist truck. We're going to go into the back. You have to open up the back. And a cool little scene there for you. But inside of there is going to be an artifact. Speaking of artifacts, you can see I am actually basically right above my previous location. You can see the truck down there that I was just in. I'm at the top here. We're going to find a little satchel over here. There we go. We're going to open this thing up, and inside of it is going to be the artifact. Speaking of artifacts, we are now the next block over. So we're between 5th and 6th Avenue, between just south of Spring Street. This is part of the story section. You're going to eventually have to grab a rope in that elevator, and I think you're going to go down, but we're going to go past that first and head to the corner. In this corner is going to be an artifact. Now, there are a whole bunch of other things here that we're going to get before we go into that elevator and carry on with our objective. First thing we're going to do, we can't open that door here to the right, but we can break the glass and then jump in. And here we're going to get a training manual. The training manuals are upgrades for the player. However, they don't actually count as a numbered collectible on the main menu screen. But there is a training manual, so you'll be able to upgrade new branches. All right, you see there's a safe there. We're going to ignore it for now. We're going to head straight back where the dry erase board is. There's going to be a body on the floor. Right in front of that body is an artifact. I'm going to pick that up. Now, you're going to see there's a number on the dry erase board. It starts 860722. That is actually going to be the combination for the safe. But first, there is a second artifact. So one to the left and one to the right of the dry erase board. Make sure you get both of those on this side of the room. Make sure you write down the number, because we're going to take that over to the safe. Of course, make sure you have the training manual as well. I don't know why I'm opening. I'm just wasting you all's time. So we're going to go ahead and pop in this combination. I also want to take this moment in time and say, Seattle, I'm a little worried about you guys. My favorite Seattle game has got to be Infamous Second Son. It was a whole lot of fun. Seattle looked much more beautiful in that game than it does here. All right, so I am in that same block. I am on the top left corner of that block. I'm actually going to go across the street into a restaurant. So that's where we exited from the garage. That was story path. We're going to head over to the coffee shop here. We are going to break in. You can shoot it or break it open or whatever, but there's going to be a document, an artifact here on the counter. There is also going to be a trading card in this same room. Now, we're not going to leave the building just yet. We're going to circle around to the back rooms. Go take a look at Big Blue there. So circle around into the back room. And remember to put my flashlight on, guys. And then we're going to go ahead and open this. And we're going to find a key hanging. Well, not hanging, but it's going to be right in front of us. And it looks like the diaper changing station. You got a key. It is to a pet store. We will just hold on to that key for now, but it is an artifact in of itself, but it is required for another collectible later on. So here's gate, the second, one of the gates. This is the West Gate 2. And inside of here is going to be another safe. This one has a little sign on it that says use gate code. Well, you got to take out that artifact that we got earlier with all the gate codes on it, find out which gate code number is West 2, which happens to be 0451. So we're going to open that up and pick this thing clean. A whole bunch of stuff there, supplements and whatnot. But most importantly, there's a trading card down there. So make sure you pick up that trading card as you're cleaning out that. And I'm not sure why you would open the safe and not take everything out of it, but make sure you do. All right, so now I'm on Madison Street between 5th Avenue and 6th Avenue, right on the main road, or whatever road is left. And I'm going to go up these stairs. Now, this is because this is an open world area. You can actually go and get these in whatever order you want. There is no linear way to navigate this entire downtown area. However, there is a trophy for visiting every location in Seattle. Although, if you're following this collectible guide, I believe you'll get that automatically. All right, so there was our next location, just around the corner. Now, I'm up on this pedestrian bridge. And in the center here is going to be 2 collectibles. You're not going to see the second one right away, but the first one is just this really beautiful drawing. Another Day in Paradise is titled. And then the second one is going to be a journal entry. And this one's actually pretty funny. This is, you know what? Just open your journal and then read it. I won't spoil it. I think it's actually kind of funny and cute in some sort of way. All right, so I'm going to continue going across this bridge. You see this tent to the left. We're going to enter it. And there's some other stuff in there, but then make your way to the workbench because you got to find all the workbenches as well as open all the safes and get all the training manuals. Basically, I have to 100% the game. All right, so next up, we got another trading card. So I'm going to go across that pedestrian bridge. Again, go back the way I came, at least for me. And then I'm going to go into the music store. There's going to be a trading card on the first floor. There is an absolutely wonderful, one of my favorite moments in video games in the room just to the right that I just passed. Just wanted to throw it out there. It was a real aha moment for me. On the first floor here, though, is a trading card. We're going to go ahead and pick that up. This is a Das Wort trading card. All right, so you can see my spot in the map. I'm between 5th and 6th Avenue again, and Madison and Marion. All right, with that pet shop key, go ahead through this door. We are going to find an artifact just to the left as we enter it here. Now, there's also going to be another upgrade that we're going to get. It's going to be the small gun holster, so you can carry 2 different pistols, for example. But there is the artifact. Now I'm going to show you the short gun holster. Again, it's not technically a numbered collectible. I'm just going to look at this board here because, you know, why not? It's a map. And then I'm going to go in here, and this is where you're going to get the short gun holster.
Way more successful than the Fireflies ever were.
All right, so I am just south of Marion Street now on the next block south. Very close to where we just were. You're going to see this destroyed building. You still yet somehow have to get all the way up to the very top, even though there's very little building left. But we're going to get all the way up to the top. We're going to have to break through a window, kind of go outside. Just do a little platforming puzzle. It's not that difficult. And now we're just going to climb and make our way up to the very top.
Hello.
And there she is, the trading card. All right, we're going to have an artifact in the synagogue. This is actually the domed building just west of my previous location. You can see it across the street. So after you get the gas, you're going to climb all the way up here. In the corner of this table is going to be an artifact. Now, after you get that, grab the rope and then swing off to the other side. We are not going to go out the window just yet. We are going to find an artifact that's going to be inside this office here. Now, I'm not entirely sure what the sequence of events here, but I'm going to pick up this artifact, and I'm also going to trigger a journal entry. Maybe the fact that Dina's in the room triggered it, or I'm not entirely sure what triggered it, but it's going to pop here in a second. It's nothing to do with the calendar, by the way. So I got a journal entry and a artifact there. Speaking of artifacts, artifacts are going to be the next thing we get. And you can see we are way down south between 5th and 6th Avenue. About as far south as you can go. This is going to be a bank. And this is actually a fun little kind of side story about what happened on the infection day, on the outbreak day, which you'll get through the literature that you're picking up here. But we're going to go ahead and pick up this artifact. And on the top corner is going to be a vault safe key or password or whatever. So we're going to go ahead and dial this in. So we're going to go over to that vault. It's a very big one. That's 60, 23, and 07 is the combination to this. We're going to open it up very slowly because you got to imagine this thing weighs a ton, maybe. I don't know. It's one of the biggest vault doors I've seen. All right, so now that's open. That is number 24 out of 29 here. But inside this room is the shotgun. I'm not entirely sure if this would appear later on in the game if you missed it here. Very well could be, but there it is. You do need to get all the weapons, so.
Look at all this money.
Number 25 is an artifact that's also in this room, and we're actually going to pop a trophy here, guys. Spoilers. So there's the artifact that's very close. Now here's where you're going to get the engraved ring. This is one of the special artifacts. This will earn you the So Great and Small trophy. Of course, that's the ring from, Drake's ring from Uncharted 3, not the Sir Francis Drake ring, not Nathan Drake. I believe. Or maybe it was Uncharted. No, it was Uncharted. I'm pretty sure it was Uncharted 3. But anyways, there's the trophy. You get that trophy just for that one item. One of the few trophies are actually going to pop in the game. All right, so now we're between Columbia and Cherry Street, one block over to the west. You're going to see there's a tank here. You can actually climb up to the top of it, open the hatch. I think there's some rounds or something in there. But head straight behind it, and you're going to see another satchel. We're going to open this thing up and pick out the artifact out of it. We are one step away from toilet paper being an artifact, I'm telling you. All right, speaking of artifacts, number 28, we are way on the other side now. We are near the Wolf Building, so I've already returned all the way back, and now I've taken the north gate, or whatever gate it was, and then we're in this new section. So I'm in this building here, and we're going to make our way all the way up. Actually, not all the way up to this, just to the second floor here. I'm going to go in through this room to get to the other. And there's going to be two collectibles here, the final two collectibles in downtown. Artifact right here, and I'm going to turn around and pick up a trading card on the other side of the room. All right, so that'll do it. We're going to head over to Eastbrook Elementary. And inside of here, when you start, if you watch the cutscene, you actually take two items, Leah's photograph and Leah's note. That is the first two pieces of artifacts. For some reason, that counts. All right, next up, we're going to go across the roof. You're going to see a bunch of solar panels come inside of this room here. You're going to see the document next to a radio, which I believe you have to. It's going to be really hard for you to miss that one. All right, so now we're going to jump across into this apartment. Now, there's an alternate path. You have to go left, but there's an alternate path if you jump over the sofa on the right, blocking the path. And then come to the bedroom, and inside of there is going to be the trading card. So this is kind of like a deviant path. And then eventually you're going to drop down onto an old hot tub. Now we're going to have a whole bunch of stuff here. This is Capitol Hill. So we got a whole 16 of them here total. So we're going to go just basically across the street. There's a building here. It's going to be marked number 3. And we're going to go inside of here. We're going to find a drawer right in front of us. A bunch of other goodies in this house as well, but nothing as important as that collectible. Next up, we got another artifact, so we're going to just turn around and go through this little hallway here. We're looking for a building. I think this is address number 6. So we're going to go inside of here, but we'll have to actually go upstairs for this artifact. Just take it all the way to the end, and you'll find it right there on the bed. Naughty Dog puts a lot of collectibles on top of beds. All right, so we got another trading card. This is still in Capitol Hill. This is the Capitol Hill, kind of like the motel area. There's a collectible in the room here. Oh, there's a tree in my way. There's a collectible here in the room just to the left, but the door is locked, so we're going to go in the room just next to it. room number 4, go out the window to jump back into room number 3. All right, so we're going to get a piece of equipment here. This is the trap mine. You're going to have to use this dumpster. This is just next door to the hotel. You'll see that dumpster. You have to move it over to another wall, but if you jump into the house nearest by, up to the 2nd floor, follow it around on this bed with the red sheets, you will find the trap mine as well as some weapon parts next to it. Leave that room, head back to the kitchen. I actually walked right past this on the way to the back bedroom, but on the way in or way out, make sure you pick up the note inside of the kitchen. All right, so I'm going to leave, head over towards the gas station now. You might see a patrol of humans nearby. There's one here. I had to take care of that dude real quick. I thought I had killed them all. All right, so we're going to go inside the garage. I'm going to do a diving prone and quick stand up. Neat, nifty little move to get underneath anything you have to crawl under. But that is also where the workbench is. All right, so across the street, we're going to have a bookstore. Inside this bookstore is going to be the coffee house. There's a few things here. First is a training manual. Again, training manuals are not counted, numbered in the list on the main menu, unfortunately. But that is the training manual, so you'll be able to, I think this is going to give you better stealth. Yeah. New upgrade branch for stealth. All right, so also in this room is our 4th collectible here in Capitol Hill. This is an artifact. It's right next to the sink. And then finally, if you take this room here with the red exit sign above it, and you'll come in, you'll see a book is going to be wedged in between the pages. You may have come into this building from that way, just in case you get turned around. All right, so next up, I'm heading a little south there from that previous location. There's a basketball court over there. And then here is a building you can drop into. You can also just walk in through the front of the store or side of the store. I'm choosing to drop down from a higher elevation. Inside the locker is going to be the training card. All right, after you've made your way through that entire section, you're going to now make your way to a new one. You're going to see a bunch of trip wires on the ground in front of you. I believe the game will actually alert you if it's the first time you'll see them in the game. Inside the liquor store, however, just next to it, adjacent to it, is going to be a trading card. It's going to be in the back corner next to the ATM machine. All right, so now we're going to go travel through that checkpoint there where the trip mines were at. There's actually going to be a whole bunch more coming up. But as soon as you enter this next area, before you slide down the hill, climb up this ladder. Once you get to the top of this ladder, you're going to find an artifact. All right, so after you've now slid down, see I was way up there, now I slid down. I'm going to head further back this way. You're going to eventually, you see the mural on the stone wall way out in the back there. Head towards there next, and then to the path just around to the right of it is kind of where you're heading next. But inside this truck on the way to that mural is going to be the artifact. I actually don't think you have to go to the mural. It's just visually it's right there for you. All right, so moving on, we're going to head a little further. You see a martial arts store here? This is before we get to the TV station, kind of the final section before we go there. Inside the martial arts building in the back wall on the corkboard here is going to be the document. Now there's also a workbench, just look to your left. Be very, very careful of the trip mines that are here. However, there are a whole bunch of bottles and bricks that you're going to be able to use to disarm all those traps. All right, so next up, I'm going to go across the street into this store here. There's going to be a trading card right on the shelf next to what looks like to be a maybe children book. I don't know. All right, so while we got that, we're going to go here. There's going to be 3 doors in this room plus a cork board. On that board is going to be the artifact. This artifact is a clue to combination to a safe. This safe is opened by a phone number. However, that note didn't have all the digits. However, if you look in the bathroom, you'll see all the a little on the nose with the humor there. But We're going to go ahead and type in this code. 550133 is the combination. Crack that son of a gun open. There's no other collectibles in there. We're going to move on now to channel 13. There's only 2 collectibles here. So once you made your way all the way up, you're climbing up on the side of the building there. You're going to come inside. All the way back office is going to be the trading card. I am now going to go up a flight of stairs. There's going to be another office to the left corner. On the couch, on the sofa in this room is going to be the artifact. And now, the tunnels. The tunnels has 10 collectibles. I apologize, it's very dark and YouTube is not going to do you any favors. But eventually you're going to get to this train car. Dina's going to wait for you to squeeze through the opening to leave this train car. You don't want to do that just yet. Head straight back and make sure you get the Jules note. So we jumped out of that train car. We're going to head down this tunnel here. It's very, very dark. But you see the red light coming from this room here? Don't go into that room yet. You will in a moment. Head past it. And there's a very hard to find trading card down over here. Even looking right at them, it's kind of hard. Unless you're using accessibility options to kind of cheat your way to finding the collectibles. And I do not recommend you do that. It kind of ruins the immersion of the game. You're better off with this. All right, so you're going to climb up here. And then you're supposed to grab a rope and throw it over the pipe and then kind of climb up and swing over. Before you do any of that, go into the side room. Apologize, I didn't put the light on. There we go. Speaking of lights. And that is the workbench. So now we're going to go continue on, and you're going to meet a totally new type of infected called the Shambler. And you're going to find a journal entry on one of the 2 that you initially meet up with. So make sure you get that. And then next up, you're going to be on your way from maintenance, and then you're going to keep moving on into this room. We're going to have to kind of go over the desk through a little hole in the fence to circle and loop back around. It should be fairly obvious when you're playing this game. You'll see the item there, and instantly you'll know exactly what you have to do. Don't worry. While you may not have time to take a break because we're so close to the end of this chapter, we are heading into the break room, and there are actually 3 artifacts here. And there's actually a locked door that you got to type in a code. It's not considered a safe, but it is a locked door. I'll show you how to get it. But that was the first artifact. There's a second one over here. This is actually the first one that actually looks like a traditional artifact, at least in today's world.
Hey.
And then the final artifact is actually going to be a can in the vending machine. You have to break it open in order to reach in and grab it. It's actually much closer to the first collectible in the room. All right, so those are the 3 artifacts. If you wanted to go and type in the door code because maybe you want some more materials or something, I believe the code is, I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head, 152 through 43. 15243.
Yes.
How'd you do that?
All right, no other collectibles for you in this room, but there are some materials if you want them. All right, so moving on, you're going to be following Dina. You're going to come here. You're going to be enclosed by a bunch of train cars around you, and you're going to see some water or puddle on the ground. You can actually crawl underneath one of the train cars over here, and you need to do that to get up into it, and we're going to find a trading card in here. All right, so the final artifact here in the tunnels is going to be up this way. You're going to climb. This is kind of on your way out. Before you go through that next door, just to your right. You'll walk right past it if you're not careful, but you can just touch and reach out and touch it as well as you're passing it. All right, so we are in the theater. There are 6 collectibles here. So kind of in the beginning, on the ground floor in the main area, in the back left corner is going to be an artifact. There's also going to be a trading card about 15 feet away to my right. So I'm going to hop over. Here, you see this display case on the right? We're going to break this son of a gun open, look straight down, and we're going to find the trading card. All right, so from that main lobby area, we're now going to proceed upstairs. You're going to see a bar to your right. You're going to see the balcony there to the left. But instead, we're going to head straight back and curve around until we find a trading card. With that in hand, you can now head back. You'll see, again, the bar on the left. And we are going to go out the exit here to the right, overlooking the main lobby. On this little round table is an artifact. Pick that up. Now that you have that, we're going to actually go up yet another small set of stairs. In the room on the left is going to be a radio. You don't have to go in here first, but you will have to go in here. So make sure you pick that thing up. And then finally, the last one in the theater area is going to be at the very front of the stage. Climb up it, and it'll be right here on the box. It is now time to go do the birthday gift. This is a really special chapter.
So dumb.
I'll try not to spoil anything, but it is a flashback chapter. It flashes back to 3 years ago. Also worth noting, you do have a whole new journal because you're a younger version of you. So make sure you open your journal and check it out. Then you're going to get to the dinosaur. A really cool little surprise. By the way, go back to the start of this clip. I framed that very, very well.
Lizards.
But there is a journal entry you can collect from there. And then you're going to get inside the actual museum, find the Triceratops there to the right. You can see a bench in front of us. On the corner of it is going to be the trading card. So we're going to head to a new section where the space stuff is at. You can see some a circular section of benches in front of us. That is where you're going to get your next journal entry. And then we only have 2 more left in this exceptionally long chapter. All right, so we're in actually a different museum now, the Natural History Museum. You're going to see the big moose getting attacked by a pack of wolves. That's not your interest. What you're looking for is the trading guard to the right of that. So don't be distracted by the big, gigantic moose. All right, so you're going to enter this room here. It's very dark, and you're going to have 2 little exit points, one here and one over here to the right. Doesn't matter which way you go, but the one on the right will lead you right into the final collectible of Seattle Day 1, which means we have Seattle Day 2 next. Welcome back, Trophy Hunters. I hope you had a great night of sleep because we are about to start our 2nd day in Seattle. I'm going to go subchapter by subchapter and show you all of the collectibles. So let's start off in the first area, Hillcrest. As soon as you spawn into the game world, immediately turn around and then drop down here. See the truck? Just break open the glass and then pick up the trading card. As soon as you get this, climb back out, and then we're going to go down to the laundromat, which will be the 2nd building on the left-hand side, I believe. Well, I guess the 3rd building, and a barber shop, and whatever that is. So we got a laundromat here. I'm going to go in here to the back corner office, back left side here, and we're going to find the artifact. And then I'm going to actually exit this building and go into another one across the street. So first, 2nd collectible is an artifact. So as I mentioned, we're going to go hop back out and go across the street. Now, inside of this clothing store, you're going to see a door here to the right. You can't go in there, but we can come out it. So in order to get into that area, you have to come around and drop down into the little basement area. And there's going to be a workbench. There was also going to be one other item here. So let's go ahead and pick that up. It's going to be an artifact. All right, now you can go back up the stairs and open that door. And then we're going to move on. So we're going to leave that building. Now, I'm going to jump up here, and I'm going to do just a quick little cut. I want to just try to cut out as much little story stuff as possible. So watch for the edit right there.
Hold on,
All right, so you see the coffee shop right across the street. You know how much I love me some coffee. Well, unfortunately, we're not going to do that. We're going to do a journal entry on the banner just to the left of that coffee shop. Now, once you've got that, now I'm going to, unfortunately, turn away from that coffee shop, head into the building on the other side, jump into it. We're going to find an artifact on the counter over here. And then from this location, we're going to go and get another artifact. So let's just go jump back out and head down the path here towards the right. And you're going to find kind of a dead end here, but you're going to see a climbing spot here. We're going to jump up a couple times. Now there's going to be 2 collectibles here inside this building, which you have to break open the glass to enter. First of which is going to be on the counter, as collectibles tend to be. So go ahead and pack that up, put it in our backpack, and I'm going to turn around and go right to the corner and we'll find a trading card. All right, so a little bit later on, the next section, you're going to have to do kind of a little mini game puzzle. You'll find a workbench. When you leap across this building, it's going to be hard to miss this one. It'll be right in front of you. This is, of course, the story path. All right, so there's a couple other things we're going to do right in this immediate area. So from that same workbench, let's go ahead and pack it up and turn to my right. Don't go through that door just yet. See the bicycle, there's going to be a card, of course, in the spokes of a bicycle. And then I'm going to go into the next room, and we're going to find an artifact. Okay, so now I'm going to go head out the door by the workbench, which is the story path. We're going to go exit the bike shop. Now we are going to see a liquor store across the street. You know how much I love me liquor too, so we'll go there in a moment. I promise this time we'll actually go there. But next to you when you come into this area is a tattoo parlor. You just want to go to the back corner. You'll see there's another back door that's going to lead out, so we're going to actually take that exit. And then we're going to find another dumpster. All you need to do is just move this, open the door. I'm going to do another edit for you. Inside of here is going to be a safe. Inside the safe is also going to be a player upgrade. So we're going to basically get two things out of here. The collectible is actually the safe, so 30, 82, 65 is a combination.
Oh, shit.
The upgrade itself is going to be a long gun holster. Now, the long gun holster is not actually tracked as a numbered collectible, but you do need to collect all of them for the platinum. All right, so now it is time to go get a training manual. We're going to go into the liquor store, finally. And first, I'm going to take a look here at my favorite vehicle in the game. So, yeah, let's go. Come and get me. Now hop into the liquor store. You'll see why I showed you the truck in a second. Now we're going to drop down into the basement. Now we're going to make our way. There's going to be some contact here, but we're just going to make our way through to the back. You're going to see a crawling point here. If you want to crawl through there, feel free, or you can go into the other room and jump into it. And then we're going to go up the stairs into a toy store. Naughty Dog really loves their liquor stores and toy stores. All right, in here is the training manual. I believe this is the precision manual, which will improve your shooting skills with all sorts of various weapons that you will find in this game. All right, so speaking of that truck, I'm going to teleport myself back there and then just head over to the next building on this side of the street. Another pet store of some sort. Break in the back window, and then of course back here in the corner is going to be the artifact. Now we're going to leave this building, but not from the way we just came in. We're actually going to go through a hole that's adjoining a restaurant bar. Actually, this is quite an establishment you would likely find me at. This is kind of my kind of place here. There was another quick edit for you, but I'm going to head into the back room. On the left side is going to be another artifact. This is actually where I got the combination for that safe earlier. I film things a little bit out of order how you see them sometimes. All right, so now we're heading towards the black smoke. You're going to jump over this fence. You have to. You see Naughty Dog White here. It's backyard. You're going to see another kid's playhouse over here in the corner. We're going to find a trading card in the back side of it. And then we're going to go inside the house for the next one. Inside the house, you'll just find it on the table here. Right next to some supplements. Jesus. All right, a few more still in the Hillcrest area. We're going to see the artifact in the same room next to the kitchen, and then you're going to see an opening in the door going into the garage. I can't cut it because this is kind of tied to what we're doing. You'll get the bow after you defeat this enemy. So this is where you acquire. You just got to make sure you loot it. You do need to acquire all weapons as well for the platinum trophy, so I needed to make sure you guys knew exactly where that is. All right, so collectible number 19 is in Hillcrest, is in that same area. Look for a yellow or orange house kind of up the road a little bit from where you start, and then jump into it. Now, there's going to be a whole bunch of enemies in this area, so this is one of the encounters in the game. You'll know this area when you get to the series of houses here. Go up the stairs, go in the middle door upstairs. There will be another enemy in here. So kill, I believe it's a her. And then we're going to crawl underneath the bed and pick up the trading card. All right, so now we are heading to finding strings. As soon as you load into this subchapter, you want to just immediately go to your right, go to the cliff. This is an excellent photo mode opportunity, by the way.
Okay. What's going on?
Such a beautiful game. All right, and a little bit later on, now you and Joel will actually be paired up together. You start with Tommy, now Joel. One of the things I really love about this game is how kind of the combinations of characters that you get to play with.
Need a boost?
All right, so jump over the U-Haul thing. Joel will discover that this used to be flooded and you can't swim over there anymore, so you're going to backtrack. Before you do that, make sure you pick up the trading card in the back seat of this car. And then you and him are going to go inside yet another hotel. Flashbacks to Pittsburgh for you. You will find an artifact when you squeeze in the room, then jump into another one.
Never been in here before.
We're going to exit this room across the hall. You'll see room 107,
Streets.
and the artifact will be right in front of you. And that'll actually be it for
Maybe.
finding strings. There's only 3 collectibles. There'll be 20 collectibles, however, in the Seraphites chapter. So this is near the very beginning. You're going to have to push this gate open eventually. And you're going to see what looks like a 7-Eleven. Near the front of the store, on the right-hand side,
Here.
we're going to find a trading card on the bottom shelf. Right by the checkout lanes here. Which is where you would normally find trading cards in convenience stores. All right, so now we're going to get an artifact. So I'm going to leave that 7-Eleven, convenience store, whatever it is. Go across the street over here. There's another liquor store. Hallelujah. We're going to go inside of this one and find an artifact. We're going to have to break open the glass to get in there. This artifact is actually dropped from an enemy. So I do have to show you the combat encounter here. I believe it's going to be the last one that pops in here. He's going to come in from behind me. Or not. He's somewhere. There he is. And I missed. And he's hitting me. Let's just... There we go. Nice job. All right, so now we can pick up the artifact. I actually had to stomp that last one dead. So it was actually the second one that I killed that dropped from. Either way, that's the artifact. So now we're going to leave the bar or the liquor store and then head into the building across the street. Now you're going to see a Feel Her Love, a big thing painted in blood. Just walk up to that and then you hit triangle for the journal entry. And then you're going to find a trading card. This one's actually a little tricky. This is going to take us to a hidden room, a pretty well hidden room. There'll be 2 collectibles, this and an artifact. So climb up that and then you're going to have a rope here. And then you're going to see some window panes. You're going to have to shoot these out or grab a brick or bottle. And shoot out those over there. Grab the rope. And then toss it over so it's hanging. You'll see there's a little kind of triangle nub on the corners that'll hold it in place for you. All right, so now jump over to it. Or go back the way you came, but it's quicker just to jump. Now we're going to swing over to a new set of rooms. There was a door that kind of joined the two, but it was locked from this side. That's kind of your clue that this area existed. All right, so once you're in here is the trading card. About 10 feet to the left of us is the artifact right on the ground. All right, so we're going to get back on the main road. We're going to just continue up Interstate 5. Your visual cue is going to be this black cat. When you see that black cat, you're going to turn left. You'll see this truck here. Now, we're going to go inside this building here to my right. There's 2 ways to get into it. You can either go to the right of the front entrance and go through the basement or climb up here and then jump over to the next set of windows. And then break in from this point. Now, in the middle of this room is going to be an artifact. On this artifact is going to be a safe combination. So let's go to the safe, which is in a bedroom. In addition to this safe, which I'll pop up the combination here in just a moment, in addition to this safe is going to be another, I believe, trading card. So we're going to have to get that before we go out. So we got 8/10/83, which was their
There.
wedding date, I believe, of the couple who used to live here, if you want to read the lore. All right, so here in the nightstand, again, the trading card. But we are staying in this building. We got a few more things we need to do. We're going to head over to a workbench. So we're going to make our way through a series of apartments. This is a whole optional area. It's kind of neat how much is built into this game. Keep going through all the doors until you make it to a workbench. I will have to do another edit for reasons you will find out. And then once that is done, we're going to get another artifact just to the left. Now, there's two things in this room. An artifact right here in front of the TV, and then there's also going to be a training manual. And this, I believe, is the explosives training manual.
Ugh. I thought it was a...
So 2 collectibles here.
I'll read this later.
I think there were 6 total in that building. All right, so you're going to continue on the main path now. You're going to just walk up some stairs, climb up about a 5-foot wall, maybe a 6-foot wall, and I believe this is probably a story
There's
automatic journal entry, but here it is.
Thought I'd be
You see
closer.
the hospital way out in the distance. That is where she is heading. And next up, we got a trading card. So from that spot, we're going to turn right, go into the next building. We need to get down to the first level. Do it without falling to your death. So I'm just going to come up over here, go prone. And this will drop me right by a door. Unfortunately, that door is not going to let you in. So we're going to have to make our way around and break our way through more glass. The puzzles aren't really getting any more clever. All right, so I don't know. Let's go ahead and use an arrow. Why not? Break it open, drop in. It's going to be in the back left corner in the middle drawer. All right, so you're going to continue on. You're going to make your way through a park. You're going to see a big door in the corner there. It's kind of glowing. That's where we're going to go next. But first, look for the bus stop, and that is going to be our second journal entry of the Seraphite subchapter. Once you get that journal entry, there's a pretty good melee weapon there. Pick that up as well. Go inside the next door. Eventually, you'll be able to squeeze in here, I promise.
All right.
All right, so as soon as you enter, we're just going to go up the stairs and go to the opposite corner. You can go left, you can go right, it doesn't matter. Just go to the opposite corner. You're going to find a trading card. It's right there on the ground. And now we're going to go through the door that was very, very close to where the top of the stairs was. Stairs are to the right. So here's the door. We're going to go through that door. This is story path. You're supposed to go in here and then get the street level by taking the ladder down. Instead, we're going to go up. Break through this glass. You're going to see a dead body in the back right corner on the ground in front of it. It's the artifact. So we are now finally going to make our way quite a bit later near to a pharmacy. Another pharmacy. You can see it right in front of us. Now, I want you to know that it's going to feel like you missed this collectible. That's because there's such a long gap between that previous one and this one. So the collectible pacing, unfortunately, wasn't very good here. So if you think you missed it, don't worry. Get inside the pharmacy and you can then pick up the trading card, hop around the counter, and then pick up the artifact. So the trading card and the artifact. Got a few more here in the Seraphites. We got a safe. So from that same pharmacy, we're going to go into the back room, crawl into it, find the safe. Now, the combination was on that previous artifact, so here it is, 38, 55, 23.
What have you got for me?
A whole bunch of supplements there, too, by the way. That was a nice stash. All right, so we're going to stay in here, and there's a workbench. You'll find it. All right, so finally you're going to make your way to the hospital. You're going to make your way through a door, have to push these big boxes to block the door, and then you're going to head upstairs. You will find the final artifact here in this subchapter. Right up here, we're going to go off to the left office. You'll see it. Now, that's actually all of the collectibles here in Seattle Day 2. However, there is one extra collectible in the final subchapter. This is St. Mary's Hospital. Either Naughty Dog forgot to include it as in part of their tracker, or it was meant to be one of those just magnifying glass search items. Either way, it's a bonus one. If it gets patched, there it is. Welcome back, my friends. We are going into Seattle Day 3. Yes, 3 days of Seattle. More Seattle coming. Spoilers. So we have a whole bunch of collectibles. Let's go ahead and just jump into this. The first sequence section is going to be Road to the Aquarium. You're going to be in the theater. This is your starting location. And what you need to do is just go to the front. Actually, it looks like Nathan Drake's warehouse, actually, now I'm thinking about it. But we're going to get to the stage, backstage, actually. And then on top of this equipment over here is the trading card. Now we're going to find a workbench. Inside of this building, this is the story path. You'll recognize it, but that is your visual cue. Once you're inside, you want to go through the door right in front of you and then turn left. And then you're going to go on the second door to the right, which you will have to then crawl into. Now, once you're in here, there are two collectibles. A workbench here on the left, and we have, I believe, an artifact behind us. We'll find out here in a second. Allow me to pack things up. Turn around, and nope, I was wrong. It is a trading card. My memory is not quite so good. All right, so later on, you and Jesse are going to make your way through some water, and you're going to do some platforming. You're going to get to a parking garage. Now, I don't think you have to actually go in here, but you want to go in here. That's going to be full of a whole bunch of effective and a bunch of clickers. So you want to be careful. My goal here is just to speed run to the location of the artifact, and that is on the ramp that would go up to the second level. So you're going to have to do a little platforming to get there. At the top of this ramp at the edge is going to be the artifact. Now I'm going to just hustle my butt out of there. And then Jesse and I are going to now climb in through a window, in through a transom window, actually, into a bookstore. And we're going to find a collectible straight down below us, but we got to drop. And it's actually under us, so we have to kind of go around. Like if I went the other way, it would have been quicker. But either way, you're going to have to prone crawl all the way to the location of the trading card. Number 6 is going to be an artifact, that I remember, and it's going to be on the opposite side of this room, the opposite corner, actually. And there's actually going to be two collectibles there. There's going to be an artifact, and then behind that is going to be a journal entry. So first, the artifact is going to be on the corner of this desk right in front of me, which I almost broke my legs trying to jump over to. So that is the artifact. Now we're going to have a journal entry. It's going to be right behind us. If you pay attention to the context of it, it's a tiny little bit of foreshadowing that you would probably not see coming.
Mushrooms didn't exactly carry the same meaning back
All
then.
right, so next up, artifact. You're going to come up to the fabric store. You're going to see a bunch of construction here on the face of the store that, of course, never got completed. I'm actually going to use the scaffolding here and jump up to the top and through the window into the building. And I do believe there's actually a set of stairs behind. If you go inside the building, you can go up that way as well. But once you're up here, on the outside wall is going to be the artifact. There's also going to be a workbench. Once you swim and then come out of the water, you're going to see a huge-ass building in front of you. And we're going to do a bit of climbing. There is a section where you're going to have to go up higher, but before you do that, you want to make sure you interact with the workbench. So we're just going to kind of circle around. And eventually we'll find it, I promise you. All right, so we got a trading card up ahead. Jesse and you are going to drop down, go across the skywalk into another building.
We take these guys out.
Awfully dark in here. I'm going to keep circling around clockwise until I enter this room. And then I'm going to drop down. Now, there's two ways you can go. There's a blockage to the left here and one to the right. You want to take this left blockage and then turn around immediately after you jump over it. This is the story path. Just make sure you jump over that side. So later on, we are now in the flooded cities. 12 collectibles here. So you're going to have control of a boat. You're going to see an ice cream truck in the flood. And then you're going to see this department store or whatever it is in front of us. We are going to have to take a little boat ride through this entire building. And then I'm going to cut to the end here. Once you get to the end, jump out of the boat, go through the door that I'm slowly getting past. Open that up, and then we will find the trading card. And then we're going to have a journal entry. I'm going to take it from here. Don't get back into the boat just yet. You have to open the gate. But before you open that gate, we're going to take the stairs over this way. And this will eventually lead us to the window where you're going to be able to write in your journal entry.
There you are.
Now there is also a second collectible in here. It's going to be in the back left corner. So turn around and head over there and pick up this artifact. Now on this artifact is going to be another safe combination. So let's go ahead and find the safe because the combinations are almost always near the safe. So let's move this pile of rubbish out of the way. Be gone with it. And then we're going to crawl underneath a new revealed opening. That'll eventually lead us to the safe.
Where's this go?
Okay, so we're going to have to drop down through this window. And there is the safe, along with a bunch of other goodies in this general area. But you want to put in 70, 12, and then 64, I believe it is. Open it up. And then finally, you're going to get the boat out of that area, and then you're going to have to restart it. You're going to follow the story path. Your motor will die. You get it restarted. Now, we're heading over to that building over there with the blue stuff on the bottom of it. So that's where we're ultimately going. Inside of there is going to be a workbench. So this is just going to be kind of like an alternate path. Your story path would have you just taking a right turn up ahead. But we're going to stop and get the workbench. Even if you don't have to upgrade anything, you have no weapon parts or anything like that, make sure you're using all the workbenches because there's a trophy tied to those. All right, so once you've done that, get back into your boat now, and we're going to head straight in front of us. You see there's a store in front of us. I believe it's actually a hotel. You're supposed to go left right there, but we're going to head straight. Now underneath here, you're going to see a body and a box next to it with a lantern. On that box is going to be the artifact. Now once you pick that up, get back into your boat, and then we're going to head over to that next section, which I previously pointed out. Look for the trains that are kind of hanging from above. We're going to try to get to the top, of the front of the front car. So we're going to have to get to the top of that to drop into it. So that's the plan. So let's just go ahead, park over here. Now be careful, there's going to be people shooting at you from a building across the way. That building is also going to be the location of the next collectible, which I'll show you in a moment. Now there is going to be a little rope puzzle that you're going to have to do. I actually kind of really like these little rope puzzles. Adds a nice little flavor to the game. So here we go. We're at the front of this train car, but we have to go to the next one. So in order to get there, we have to throw the rope over through the ceiling and then down the side of the train so we can jump onto the rope, get to the top. And from there, it's going to be very self-explanatory. You're just going to drop into the front trading car, and there'll be a collectible in there. Now, I mentioned the building out in the distance. I'm actually going to use this as a kind of a little sniping perch. So let me first grab the artifact. And now I'm going to shoot to basically where the next collectible is going to be. So I'm shooting into that building. There's a few people in there. Took another one out already. So that is where we're going to go. So I'm just going to drop down and then swim over there. Probably equip something other than my bow. I don't think that's going to be the best weapon for close quarter combat. But the shotgun is, however. All right, so find the stairs, get up to the second floor. Again, I probably have a couple stragglers up here. And then I'm going to actually break through some glass that you're going to see on the left-hand side. You don't actually have to break the glass. You can just walk around to the other side of the room. But I just want to grab this and get the heck out of Dodge. So that is the 8th out of 12 collectible in this chapter. So now we're back in the boat, following the story path. It kind of winds around a bit. Promise you this will eventually lead us to an artifact. In fact, it's going to be inside a video game store, of course. That's more of an arcade, I guess. Think of a Dave and Buster's type of establishment. So in the back wall over here in the booth on the table is going to be the artifact. Once we've gotten that, there's a few more things we're going to get here. So get comfortable. And this is actually a really well-designed part of the game. I like arcades, though. What can I say? So I'm going to go up the stairs now. Now here's a bunch of machines. There's going to be another jack machine over here, another racer. And also in the same area is a workbench. So don't get distracted by the pretty video games. Make sure you interact with this workbench. And then eventually you're going to fall down. You're going to push a little cart. You're going to fall down. You're going to have a little boss fight. I'm just going to cut it out. After you've defeated this boss, you're going to be awarded with the ability to open the gate at the prize booth. So yes, you get a prize for defeating the boss. So inside here is the trading card. Alright, we only have one more left here in this flooded city section. So you're going to find that you go up the stairs, turn right. You'll see the PC cafe. It'll be right on the corner of the wall here. And then finally, we are going to move into the final section of this chapter. And this is actually called Infiltration. After you get ambushed by a dog, just follow to your left. Eventually, you're going to see a duffel bag in the back of the room. Open that up. You'll get what would look like an artifact, but the actual collectible is the journal entry that you get after collecting this item.
Owen. Really?
Hello, trophy hunters. Hope you brought a blanket because we are heading to the park. There's only one section in the park. It's called the tracking lesson. There's only 4 total collectibles, 2 of which are going to be in your backpack when you spawn in. This is another flashback episode with Abby. And so your first thing you need to do is open your backpack and check out the 2 artifacts. There you go. Make sure you check off anything with yellow dots next to it. Now, next up, you're going to make your way downhill through that little maze. You're going to see some buildings to the left. Ignore them for right now. Head past them. See a gazebo on your right. There's going to be an artifact next to it. And then we actually have our first coin. This is a new type of collectible we haven't seen yet. These are state coins from, well, at least this one's a state coin from the United States. All right, so you're going to find it right on the handle of that dumpster. This is actually, I think, story related, which games tend to do when it's trying to introduce you to a new type of collectible. And conveniently, a bottle rolled out of that trash can to our feet, so we're able to use that to break the window. Again, the dumpster is part of a puzzle, so we need it anyways. But first, you got to grab the coin, and that's it for this chapter. Thanks for watching. All right, we are continuing Abby's story arc, and we are now advancing into Seattle Day 1, not to be confused with Ellie's Seattle Day 1. So we are in Abby's storyline here. We're back in Day 1 in Seattle. So we're going to start her story off here in the stadium, and we're going to pick up a new type of collectible called the coin. Ellie collected trading cards. Abby collects coins. That's the difference. Otherwise, the collectibles are going to be identical between the 2 characters. So we're going to pick up that coin, and then we're going to head down towards field level or pasture level, because apparently it's all farmland now, grazing cows out there and such. But instead of going down with them, just go past it, and you see this bench right on the edge of it is going to be the coin. Then you're going to go down, you're going to do this thing with some dogs, and you're going to head through the tunnel, the exit tunnel going into where ultimately would lead to the armory. You're going to see a mural on the right-hand side of the tunnel. On the ground in the middle is going to be a coin. So go ahead and pick that up, then past the armory, and then you're going to see the shooting range on the right-hand side. Just want to make a quick note, that's where you get the sharpshooter trophy. I do have a guide on the channel if you want to check that out. And then just turn left, go to the corner, and pick up another coin. And then we're going to head into the next section called On Foot. And you're going to enter this building here. Close the gate because we don't want anything sneaking up behind us. Now, as soon as we're in here, we're going to go to the
Make sure this place is
right.
secure.
And we'll find a folding table, a card table here, where you'll find the coin. This is kind of like a Home Depot type store. And then there's like a garden center in the back of it, which is what we just entered. Now, if I go to the cashier section in the back left corner of this area,
Abby, this reminds me of your dad's greenhouse.
we'll find a coin right on the counter here.
All these plants are alive. Good point.
And now we're going to find a workbench. We're going to get inside a building. I'm going to have to hold up this cabinet. We're going to let our partners in.
Yeah, sure.
And then we're going to go through another door.
We're here.
That is your visual cue. Now, once you're in here, just go straight back. Kind of in the middle of this area, in the back wall, is going to be a workbench. All right, next up, we got a coin. I made it up to the second level of the boat area. And now once you're up here, this is story path. You're going to have to pick up a ladder and do a little ladder puzzle. But we're going to actually access a little hidden area up here first. So I'm just going to place a ladder here and then climb up into this little section and pick up a coin in the back left.
What do you see? No way out from here.
And some supplements.
I don't have this one.
All right, there's the Ohio coin. So now I'm going to get back down, take the ladder, place it across here. This, again, is part of the story.
Hey.
Except now I'm going to take a little detour into the boat, and we're going to find a training manual for covert ops on the right-hand side.
Oh, nice. Reminds me a little of Owen's one.
All right, so we're back outside here. You see there's a trailer here in front of us. We need to go inside of there because it's too clearly obvious this is where a collectible would be. To break open the window, there's a bottle on the ground and brick nearby as well if you don't have any. And inside of there, you're going to get a coin. You'll also get an artifact while you're in here, so just turn around.
Okay, interesting.
All right, once you put that in your backpack, go ahead and leave this trailer, head over towards where your teammates are. We will find a safe inside this building right in front of us. That door, of course, is locked because every door is locked. So we're going to go through this gate, and immediately to the right, it's kind of hidden, is a hole in the wall. We're going to go into here, crack open this safe. There will also be a hunting pistol in here, which is one of the weapons we need. So 1738-7.
It actually worked.
And then make sure you get the hunting pistol as well. It is not a numbered collectible, but you do need all those upgrades and all the weapons. Next up is going to be the forward base. It's not a very big area, but there's going to be a whole lot of people here. Not in this section, but you will see 4 people standing over here to my right. Behind them is going to be a coin on the ground, so let's go and pick that up. And then head through the story path to the checkpoint, which is close by. Once you get to the checkpoint, we're going to go through it and just kind of loop around to our left. You're going to see some porta potties. Thankfully, you don't have to stick your hand inside of them because the coin is actually going to be next to them. Keep circling around on the left. There's the porta potties. And the coin's just to the left. Now we're going to find a workbench. So if I just turn around and basically head straight in that direction into this next tent, I will find the workbench. All right, so we're going to get a coin. We're going to follow the story into the building. We're going to meet Isaac.
He's inside. Going in.
Once we're inside here, we're off to the left. You're going to see a row of tables. Just look for the left one. On top of it is going to be the coin.
Got time for a game?
Can't. Here for Isaac.
Whatever.
And in this same room, if you turn around as we head into the next room, before we exit into that room, we're going to find that next to this box is a artifact. And that'll do it for the forward base. Now, the next area we're going to go to is the aquarium. There is actually one
See that every day.
artifact that you will pick off this wall just over here in front of me and put it in your backpack, but it does not count. It doesn't get tracked. I don't know if it was forgotten or I don't know. There are a couple artifacts upstairs as well, but you actually leave them. You don't actually take them with you, so you're not collecting anything. All right, hostile territory's got 15 collectibles here. There is a document inside of this door. You don't actually get to keep it. You're going to pick it up, and your buddy's going to take it because it's embarrassing for him.
someone
So I
stole
highly
it?
recommend maybe pausing the video right about here, reading the note, because
Hey,
That's private.
that's all the shot you have to read
God.
it.
This is your place?
By the way,
How many
spoiler,
sex
it's
dens do
not
you
safe
have
for
in
work,
this QZ?
what was written in that
I'll
note.
do my best.
All right, so moving on, we're going to find a training manual. This is the close quarters one. After you guys split up, Abby's going to go in between the buildings here. You're going to see kind of a green sign on the buildings off in front of us here in a moment after we jump over this barrier. There's the green sign. We don't want to go inside that building. When you get to that building, we're going to turn around and jump in through a window into the building here to my left.
Does that smell?
And naturally, this is where you're going to find the training manual for close quarters.
I've been wanting to read something like this.
And it's also the area where you're going to find an artifact right behind you. Okay, so a little bit later on, you're continuing following a story path. You're going to jump over that gate. You're going to see a RV here. We're going to jump on top of this green car and get into the building. And I think the coin is right here. Yeah, just right as you jump into this room.
Nice.
All right, so again, continuing on, jumping over another wall. This, you're going to see a big building here with some cool graffiti on it. We're actually going to go into the first building here to the left. We're going to have to break the glass. Inside of here is going to be a safe. There she is. All right, so the code for this is 689689. It'll be on a document we'll see in a bit.
Actually worked.
All right, so now we're going to go into the building just across the street, up actually onto the second floor, but you can't actually access it from that building. You have to go into the Chinese restaurant a couple doors down from where we just were, and then use this building to get across over there. And we're going to have to jump across. Okay, it's at this point you can now jump over. There are two paths, one left and one right. Let's go with the right first. This is going to lead us to an artifact. This artifact will be in the corner by the body. We will now go ahead and double back and now take what would have been the left path. And there's going to be a few things, and we're also going to get a trophy. We're going to find the strange relic for you Naughty Dog fans out there. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So here was the left path, an artifact right here. Now in the next room is where we're going to find another artifact, and that will be the strange relic. Finding the strange relic in any of the Naughty Dog games will pop a trophy. This is going to pop the relic of the Sage's trophy. And I'm going to sit here and wait for it to pop, and for some reason it takes a moment.
What is this?
A very, very, very few trophies will actually pop during your playthrough of this game, and when they do pop, they're always during like collectible stuff, or if you're at a workbench or anything where you're not actually engaging in the content of the game. Found it just kind of an interesting way that they kind of did their collectibles. Okay, so we now got a double barrel shotgun close by. We just got to drop down onto the floor. Behind the counter in front of us is going to be the shotgun. Be careful, you're going to get ambushed. Completely forgot about it. Normally I try to clear the enemies before I start recording.
Asshole.
All right, so there's the shotgun. Again, not a numbered collectible, but you do need to obtain all the weapons and all the upgrades and all the skills. All right, with that in hand, just continue on. You're going to come to this shrine or memorial. You can open up the back of this truck. Inside of there is going to be one artifact. There are going to be several more littered around this truck on the outside of the truck. So let's just go ahead and grab this one first, and we will get 2 on the right side of the truck and 3 on the other side of the truck. So here's the side with 2.
That's a big ask, dude.
And then we're going to go to the other side. I'm really kind of curious why Abby selected these specific...
Ooh, someone wants to get
I mean, there's a whole truck full of people's names and such, but whatever. All right, so this side has 3. There's 2 on the side of the truck, and 1 is actually on the ground near the front door.
Okay, at least that one's a practical request.
Okay, so with all of those collected, we are now going to go into the set of the buildings on the right side of the truck. To jump straight here, you'll see an artifact right on the counter. We are going to stay in this building and go through the next door. There's going to be a shotgun holster. It's an upgrade. It's not a numbered collectible, but you do need all the weapons and all the upgrades and skill points. So make sure you come back there and pick that up. You can now equip, of course, 2 different sidearm weapons, which is very useful. All right, so next on, we're going to continue down the path. We're going to crawl through this little passage, have to move a box out of the way. Once we've done that, we're going to find an area off to the distance to the left. It's going to look like a table. Maybe a makeshift table, but we're going to find a table that has some ammo on it and an artifact right in here in this next room. There's also going to be a workbench about 20 feet away to my left, so make sure you interact with both of these. This, and of course, the 15th and final collectible here in hostile territory area is right there. Now we're going to head over to the forest. Next for collectibles. However, there is a chapter or section called Winter Visit. There are no collectibles. However, there's the trophy Put My Name Up is earned in there. I do have a guide on my channel if you want to learn more about that. So now let's jump over to the forest.
Go on.
We've got a couple new friends here. We're going inside an auto shop. There's going to be another workbench just to the left corner of this room.
I have it under control.
Okay. Grab any supplies you find.
And then behind us, if we go through the door into another set of rooms and then take the first right, or take the right, there's 2 collectibles, one to our left and one here to our right. This, however, is not a numbered collectible. This is a training manual for the firearms upgrade tree branch. All right, now we will find the next artifact. There are only 2 collectibles in the forest, so 2 plus the training manual. And there is the artifact. Very short, sweet, and easy for you guys. All right, next up is the coast. There are 9 of them. We're in this section here. You see the container hanging above us. We put off an injured person in a area, and we are off on our own now. And we're going to jump across. As soon as we get across the fence, we got another one of these WDI buildings. As soon as you enter it, there's going to be yet another workbench. All right, so now I'm going to get the next upgrade, which is going to be the long gun holster. So just to the left of that workbench is a door. If you go through that door, there's a little office in front of us. You will find, nope, not in this drawer, Brian. Next one, keep going. There it is. So now you can equip 2 different long guns. So we had to do that for both Ellie and Abby, which is why it seems like there's probably more collectibles than there really needs to be. But next up is going to be another coin. We're going to exit a section with a bunch of containers, and then we have a big building here. There's a ramp. This is going to take us all the way up to the highway, actually. Keep climbing up here. Now, we're supposed to turn around and follow the highway, but instead we're going to keep going straight back and get a coin. And then you're going to have to eventually swim. You're going to swim over to this very large ship. So we're going to enter through the hole. Now, eventually we're going to make our way up to the top deck, of course. But first, take the first right, take the first door to the right. Keep looping around to the right until you find this artifact. And then I'm going to actually exit this room, going out a different door. Now, a little foreshadowing, there's an arrow on that dead body. Plus, you can see my description on the bottom corner of the screen. So obviously we're going to find the crossbow next. There's going to be, we have to actually go up the stairs first, so let's just exit that, go up the stairs. We go through this door. It's going to be blocked by a guy holding the crossbow. Now thankfully he's already dead, so don't worry, he's not going to jump out at you. Okay, we're going to go up the stairs in just a moment, but there's another collectible in this room. It's going to be on the opposite side of this room. It's a very long, I guess it's more of a hallway than a room. Straight in the back, we're going to find the artifact. All right, now I'm going to double back to where we got the crossbow, and now go up the stairs. Take the opening to the right, and then follow this around to the right as well. Oh, I forgot about him. That actually just legitimately frightened me. All right, so after that, you have to, as part of the story, go to the front of the boat to get up to the top deck, which is where we're heading. There's going to be a safe around to the left here. Now, there's also going to be another training manual. This is going to be the final training manual that we're going to get. We're actually going to pop a trophy. So 907701 is the combination for that. We'll open it up, and there is the final manual. This is going to give you the ordnance. And we're also going to pop another trophy. This is the Journeyman trophy. All right, so now we're going to go towards the back of the boat on this top deck. Go through the door. I don't remember where this one's at. Drawing a blank. It's going to be on the ground just to the left. There's going to be a body on the ground. Okay, 2 more collectibles here for Seattle day 1, and then we'll close up this day before we move on to day 2 for Abby. The first things first, we're going to climb up and then kind of jump back before we go forward. We're going to come back and get the coin, and we will have 1 more coin. This is going to be heading back to, yet again, the aquarium, and of course, you see a fountain. You know what that means. There's going to be a coin in there, so go dig it out. I want to thank you guys for watching this. Hopefully, I'll see you guys in the next one. Welcome back, Trophy Hunters. We are now in Seattle day 2 with Abby. So I'm going to go ahead and show you all the collectibles along the way. This isn't going to be too bad, but we got one we got right at the very beginning. As soon as you spawn, and you don't actually have to look at it if you don't want, but in your backpack, you actually already have a new artifact. So go ahead and read it. And then we're going to move on, and then you're going to be following a new partner here, and you're going to reach an area, you're going to see some waterfalls out there in the distance, small little waterfalls. But just to the right of that is a building we're going to go into, to the back left corner. And what's it called here? Oh, it's Franklin's Barbershop. Is it Franklin? It's a barbershop nonetheless. Go back here to the counter, and you're going to find a coin right on top of it. All right, so you're going to leave that, get to the top of the little waterfall there, and then hop across some rocks into a new building. Once inside this building, we are going to go straight all the way up the stairs. Go to the top floor. I think this is the top floor here, right? Yes. Top floor here, second floor, is going to be a artifact right in front of this broken door. All right, so you're going to be on the road, you're going to be following it down, and it's going to end. And the only way you can go is jumping across here. And what I'm going to do is break the glass. I believe this is story path.
We're gonna have to
Could
do
be
a little
wrong.
zigzag.
But we're going to break that open and then go towards the dry erase board because there's going to be an artifact on the table right in front of it. So we're going to stay in this area here because we got a safe to crack. So we're going to go into the room right behind us. Interact with the safe, type in the combination, which is 302304. Open that up. Nothing else of massive importance in there, like a training manual or upgrade. All right, so we're going to continue on, and we're going to hop across. We're going to follow this little kid into this building here. I don't know what kind of building it is, but as soon as you walk in, you're going to see a body with an artifact on the floor right in front of them. There's also a workbench in this area, so you don't have to go far for that. We're just going to turn a little bit to the left and go to the corner. Okay, so we're going to go hop across some more water, hopping across these rocks here. And then we're going to do a little kind of double climb up here into a window. As soon as you get in, just turn to the right, go to the outside balcony through the window, go across the edge of the canopy here, and you'll pick up that coin. And we got a few more in the shortcut, since there are 11 total, but we're going to follow the story path. Little kid's going to go hop across and he's going to show off. So we're just going to take a detour path to get around because we can't do that by opening up the door. And then in this room, kind of in the center on the desk.
Yeah,
Next up, you're going to climb up a ladder. You're going to get to a religious altar of some sort. In the room adjacent to us to the right is going to be a workbench.
Awesome.
And then the final one in the shortcut is going to be just a little bit later on. You're going to be riding an elevator. As soon as you open that elevator door, just follow the main path here, and right when you get to the next doorway, it's going to be just to the right of it on the wall.
Yeah. I thought you were anti-electricity.
All right, it's time to move on to the descent. There are 9 collectibles here total. You're going to fall into a pool. And there's going to be a little cutscene here. As soon as that cutscene ends, jump back into the pool and dive down to where the filter trap is. And then you'll find the coin there. So go ahead and get out of the pool, and then go into the door right next to you. You can go through that door to the left. I'm going to use the bathroom door here and come out the bathroom door on the opposite side. And then you're going to see like an Orange Julius kind of place here, a juice bar. We're going to go into the back room. We are going to get an artifact. That artifact is going to have a combination on it. That combination, that safe is actually in the cleaner's closet, so we're going to have to travel to the other side of the building for that. And also worth noting, this is your final safe, so you will get the Safecracker trophy, assuming you have opened every single one up to this point. All right, so here is where the safe is located. Let's go ahead and dial in the combination, which is 121879. There is nothing else in there of note other than some, well, supplements, which are quite important. All right, we're going to have another artifact. I believe this one's story related. You're going to open up a door. It's blocked by this guy. You're going to pull out a document, an artifact, and then you're going to go ahead and put it in your journal, in your backpack. Then you're going to climb down a fire hose that you're going to lower yourself down into. And then find a little side room. There's going to be a body with another artifact. Moving on, we're going to find the flamethrower. You're going to, as you're making your way back down to the street level and up through this high rise and then back down to the street level, you're going to reach this section here. It's going to have a bunch of clickers here. We're just going to find this back bathroom and find the flamethrower. Not in here. We have to actually travel across a beam. It'll be just to your left.
Thank you.
All right, so you're following the kid again. Now you're trying to make your way down to a set of elevators back down to street level. And I came from that higher opening. You're falling from like way up higher, and then you're kind of making your way down. This is kind of right before you get to the bottom. I'm just going to put the high contrast mode on here so you can kind of get an idea of where I'm at. You can see the large beams in the center of that room. So again, I came from above, jumped down, and then I just got to turn around and double jump back into this room, and there's going to be a coin just to my left. You got into the elevator, you've gone too far. Speaking of the elevator, we're on the other side of it. We're on top of one, and we're going to jump down on the top of another one. As soon as we get through this opening, which I believe I have to squeeze through. I'm sorry, it's dark. Let me turn on the light. We're going to turn left. There's a vending machine. Break it open, and then the coin's going to pop in the change
What is that?
dispenser.
A quarter. A quarter of what?
All right, so we're going to go through the next door. You're finally going to be back outside so you can take off your mask. Also go to the bar because you've earned it. Speaking of going to the bar, the next collectible is going to be a coin in the bar just ahead. So we're going to go to the left corner over here. You have to go on the inside of it.
I sure did.
You see that elevator right
And that is where we're going to find the coin. We do have one more collectible here in the descent. Is going to be another coin. So we're going to swim, get out, and then we're basically at the hospital
I'm a wolf.
with a
Don't
bunch of
shoot.
other wolf
It's me.
people.
It's
So, of
Abby.
course, you're friendly. So after a brief little intermission, a cutscene, you're going to see a campfire, some soldiers in front of the hospital entrance. We're actually going to turn just to the right. Turn 90 degrees to your right. Go inside that building. You'll find a coin at the end of this hall. So we are going to ground zero. There are 8 of them here at the very beginning. Nora's going to lead you to
been
a
talking about Santa Barbara.
new area of the hospital, kind of near the front.
That's all bullshit.
And you're going to see a little coffee bar on your way out. So before you go down where she's showing you where you need to go, I'm just trying to
All right.
avoid spoilers. Just go and get the coin in the coffee bar. And then finally, when you guys separate, part ways, use my words are tough for me today. You immediately want to just go to the left door over here. We're going to open it up. We're going to turn right, go straight back. And you're going to see some stairs in front of you. This is story path, by the way. You're supposed to go down those stairs, but before you do that, crawl into the room to the right. And you probably can figure out where the artifact's going to be because you can see a corpse in front of us. That was perfectly framed in the shot. All right, so now that you got that, let's go to those stairs I was talking about. So I'm crawling out, now heading downstairs. And now we got to jump down to the next level below us. There's 2 collectibles down here close by. First one, let's just go ahead and grab this artifact over here on the right. You'll see a satchel. You're going to pull it out of there. Now we're going to go to the chapel. There's going to be an artifact. In the chapel, there's always a collectible on the altar itself, right? Well, not always, but in this case there is. So go ahead and pick that up. And this is the story path right here. And you're going to be in a new area. You're going to be in a blue tent. Now your flashlight's going to start to flicker. And that's going to be your visual cue right there. And you're going to see a red banner. Now that room is where we need to go into to get an artifact from the patient that, well, I guess he's still there technically. Okay, so we're going to leave this area, the blue tent area, continue onwards in the direction we were heading. And you're going to start seeing that you'll see the surgery area. The tent's going to go from blue to green.
Great.
And you're now in surgery. So we're just going to take this all the way to the end, the last room on the left. We're going to find an artifact there. Okay, next up, we have to go through the hole in the same room that we were in. So jump across. We're going to go through the door on the left. You're going to see a workbench right in front of you. Okay, so you're going to open, Abby's going to be opening a large garage door into some kind of parking garage. I know it's dark. I'll turn the light on in a second. And you'll see a little booth here to the left. There's going to be a coin in there. You have to break the window in order to get it. And that is actually going to do it for Seattle Day 2. See you in Day 3. It is time to see what's in store for Abby in Seattle on Day 3. Here are the collectibles. There are actually not that many here in Seattle Day 3 for Abby. But we are going to hop off first in the marina. And then we're going to go to the island. And, well, you'll figure it out. So in the marina, as soon as you load into it, as soon as this chapter starts, just hop up here behind the railing is going to be a coin. Speaking of coins, you're going to head over to a train station. Don't get up on the platform yet. Just keep going around and you'll find a coin on the... Well, I'll also find a melee weapon. There we go. There's the coin. And then finally, the last one in the marina is going to be as you're helping your one-armed friend up here across the railing. We are going to just leave him here and then go down to the end of this path, jump in through a window, and pick up an artifact there. It'll be in the left corner. All right, time to get in the boat, head over to the island. Bonus points to anyone who wants to solve that hangman puzzle. All right, so we are in the island. The first collectible we're going to come to is after a very, very long ladder climb. Well, it's not very long, it's just very slow. Alright, once you get up to the top, look for the vehicle to your left, just hop in the back of it. And the opposite end will be a coin.
Abby, grabbing supplies.
As soon as you pick up this coin,
in case.
hop out of this van and look for a dead body close to where the man is hanging above.
Fuck. You know
There we go. He's on the ground. Pick up
See
that
you around.
document.
I'm sorry. Your friend.
And we're going to find a coin just a little bit later on. So you're going to be following her here, and you're going to see a waterfall on the right-hand side. You're going to eventually drop down, but before you do, when you see that waterfall, look for the closest car up here.
Have a vessel trained to
And then in the driver's side door is going to be the coin. Now you're going to come to a building, a village, and you're going to see the orange glow coming from this house in front of us. Well, we're going to find an artifact that's going to be on a desk behind this. More of a table than a desk there, Brian. Nice one. Either way, we're moving on to the next coin. You're going to be in a village. You're going to have a little contact here. There's going to be a sniper up in there. And that is actually where we're headed to get the coin. I've already cleared the area. Now, in order to get up there, you have to climb up from outside the building. Just like this. And then go close to that opening to the left, and you'll find the coin. All right, moving on. You can see the big bright orange glow in front of us. That is, there's actually a few things in there, a workbench and a collectible, not the least. But instead of going in there, go to the building opposite of it, and inside of there is going to be the artifact. And now you can go make your way into that other building. As soon as you enter it on a bed to the left, there's an artifact, and then there's going to be a workbench in the back of this. Now that that's done, we are going to head over to the third section called the Escape. There's only two collectibles here.
Yeah. We're going a different way.
First one is you guys are going to make your way through a town. It's not right at the beginning. You have to get into the level a little bit. As soon as you cruise through the store, you'll see that semi-truck in front of you. We'll go look for the shopping cart with the blue, I don't know what that is, sleeping bag maybe? And that will be a coin. And also, your final coin. Finally, the next workbench is going to be up here. As soon as your partner kicks down the ladder for you, climb up, climb in through the window, and the workbench will be right in front of you. And that is going to conclude Abby's Seattle Day 3 adventure. We will head to the farm next, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you there. Hey, trophy hunters. I hope you're ready to pop some trophies because we got a few of them here in Santa Barbara. This is the final collectible guide of The Last of Us. You'll see the farm and is before and after this, but there are no collectibles there. So this is the final one with collectibles. Now we're going to start this chapter briefly with Abby. You're going to want to go down the street. You're supposed to find a house on the right side of the street. But instead, you need to go to this, I don't know, green or yellow house. I'm not entirely sure what color it is or was.
Best way to hide.
But we're going to hop into this house and go to the bathroom because there's going to be an artifact right on the crapper. At least it's not a porta potty. Now, after this, we're going to move on to pushing inland, and there are 6 collectibles there. We're going to start off with an artifact. We actually start this chapter off inside the boat, inside the sailboat. So just kind of spin around, and you'll find a note left by Abby. That is going to be our first artifact. And then you're going to hop over a fence into this little subdivision, and you'll see this U-Haul truck trailer off to the right-hand side. This is the story path. There's a infected here. Let's go ahead and take care of him. Inside this garage is going to be the artifact. It's in the back corner here. Let me just double check, make sure there's no one running after me. Apologize, no flashlight. That was my mistake. All right, so now we're going to get a trading card. So next up, we're going to hop over this little concrete wall. You'll see this nice, beautiful house with a fountain. You'll also see a clicker walking across the top of the roof. We're going to hop on top of this car and get into the second-story window and then go to the right corner, the one closest to us. Also inside this house is going to be another artifact as well as a workbench. So we got 3 items we're going to snag out of here. First of which, of course, is that trading card I mentioned, top floor in the corner. Now I'm going to drop down to the first floor. There's going to be some combat there. I'm going to quickly grab the artifact and then use some magic to make the enemies disappear. The artifact and the workbench are both in the kitchen, real close to one another. This is not the kitchen, Brian. There we go. Oh, that is definitely not an artifact. The artifact is actually right here on the counter. So I'm just going to run away real quick and then use some magic and make all the enemies disappear. Now I can go to the workbench, which is right next to where that artifact was at. All right, so remember, the trading card at the top floor and the artifact and workbench here in the kitchen. Now I'm going to head in towards the main living room area. You see the fireplace there. There's 2 windows on either side. Just jump out either one of those. Then we're going to go through a little hole in the wall, just past these bushes. And you're going to see a police car here. They're also going to be prompted to hit L3 to look at something. You want to do that because that is your journal entry. You're not interacting with anything. You're just looking. So make sure you hit L3. And then you and I will head over to the resort.
425 constants.
All right, so we're going to start off with a weapon. It's a submachine gun. It can't be missed because your character automatically is given it. So you will enter the scene with it. If you had gotten all the guns and weapons prior to this, you will get the high caliber trophy, as I just did. All right, so shortly after that, if you're still following the train tracks as you're kind of told to from the beginning, you will eventually come to this green van with some graffiti on the side of it. And you just need to walk up to it, and that is the journal entry. That is going to be the first collectible here. Remember, weapons don't count as a numbered collectible. So learn about the rattlers. And then continue following the tracks and then climb up the ladder on this train car on the tracks. You will be overlooking a settlement. You'll see a bunch of crops, a bunch of people. At your earliest convenience, feel free to just drop down and continue down the path of the train tracks. You will see a loading dock on the left-hand side. So just go up there to the closest corner to us. Or the second closest corner to us. All right, so now we're going to go into that settlement area. You kind of start here, I believe, and you'll see a bunch of houses around it. But what we're looking for is the wooden structure in the center here, because there's going to be a workbench in the back corner here. And there you go, prepared for the war. So we got all of the workbenches. You will pop that trophy too if you've been following this guide. Now we got a trading card. So we're going to go to the house. You're going to see a lit up open way here. It's actually just this area here. You can't go anywhere else. But next to the radio is going to be the trading card. And then finally, the last collectible in the game. And get the master set trophy there. We'll get another trophy here. This one's going to be in the house. I'm going to go all the way to the back of it. Go up a staircase, and it's going to be nearby there. It is a little bit of a run, so I'm just going to play with this guy for, just because I'm a nice guy until I wasn't. All right, so I just want to take this moment here just to thank all of you guys for tuning in. It's unlikely this is the first video of this series you've watched, so you've watched probably an hour or two of my content, and it does mean a lot to me, so thank you for that. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. One day, I promise we'll hit 1 million subscribers. Not important to me, but I know a lot of you guys care about that. All right, so we are up on the second floor here, and I'm just going to go to the corner and get the final collectible in the game, guys. Now all I need to do is start a new game plus. I'll carry everything over. Just got to upgrade all my skills and everything else. Just upgrade. That's all I got to do, basically, and I hope that's all you got to do as well. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, it means a lot to me if you guys would hit the like button and subscribe.